Hello everybody, it is Emery48 here and welcome back to another Tier List Tuesday. Today we're doing a ranking of the most embarrassing losses in Week 1 of the NFL season. So we'll start from the bottom with the least embarrassing losses. And for me, I think the least embarrassing loss is the Titans to the Saints. It's only a 1-point game. Frankly, I think they're both fairly even teams. Maybe the Saints are a touch better. But it's a 1-point game, and I didn't really expect the Titans to win anyway. Up next, we have the Broncos loss to the Raiders. Again, only a 1-point game. And I don't have too much faith in the Broncos. And I like Jimmy G and Devontae Adams being together. That's a good duo. Up next, we have the Chargers loss to the Dolphins. A 2-point game, very high scoring, not much defense in it. But again, I thought the Dolphins were going to win that game anyway. So not very embarrassing. Up next, we have the Patriots loss to the Eagles. Only a 5-point game, which frankly, as a Patriots fan, is a lot closer than I was expecting that game to be. The Patriots defense held up pretty well, and I mean, the Patriots offense did about what I thought they would do. Fail in the big key moments, but score when we're down by 10 points anyway. Up next, we have the Cardinals loss to the Commanders. Another decently close game, and the Commanders are the better team anyway, so the fact that they're winning is not surprising. Up next, we have the Panthers loss to the Falcons. A bit of a larger gap here in score, but two pretty bad teams, so it's not really embarrassing for either to lose, in my opinion. Up next, we have the Chiefs loss to the Lions. I mean, it's on opening day, so that's tough. It's in front of a lot of people. But without Travis Kelce, it takes some of the embarrassment away. The Lions have a good offense, and they proved that they have a decent defense. The only people on the Chiefs that should really be embarrassed are the wide receivers, who dropped the ball like 9 times. Patrick Mahomes has to be very disappointed in the rest of his offense at this point. Up next, we have the Texans loss to the Ravens. Even though it is a very big score margin, I believe it's what was expected. The Texans have not really built a good team this year, and the Ravens are a pretty solid force in the NFL, and probably expected to at least make the playoffs. So the fact that the Ravens are beating the Texans shouldn't really shock anybody. Up next, we have the Vikings loss to the Buccaneers, which I might have a little bit low, but it's surprising that the Vikings managed to lose to the Buccaneers, because I didn't think the Buccaneers had too much. I'm glad Baker Mayfield's doing well on a new team, because I do like him. But that's a rough loss for the Vikings to start off, considering they're probably the favorites in the NFC North. Up next, we have the Colts loss to the Jaguars. I think it was about a 10-point game. The big thing here was that they let the Jaguars come back again. The Jaguars' MO is that they're going to come back at some point, so you really need to be able to get a bigger lead and hold that lead well, which they failed to do. Up next, we have the Seahawks loss to the Rams. Honestly, I don't think either team's all that good, but it is a divisional game, and I think the Seahawks should be better than the Rams, especially with no Cooper Kupp. So that's a rough game for them, in my opinion. I think they need to be doing better, especially in a relatively probably weaker division. You want to be winning your divisional games, barring the 49ers. The division is not all too strong, so you want to be taking out teams in your division. Up next, we have the Bills loss to the Jets. It was a close game. I think they're two good teams. I think the Jets are a decent team. They have a great defense. We knew that coming in. The Bills' offense really just didn't show up today, and I think the fact that Aaron Rodgers going out and the Jets still win is rough. The fact that it happened in overtime again for the Bills, putting Josh Allen at 0-5 in overtime, just is going to sting. Like, at some point, you'd think he's got to get an overtime win. The Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs combo, they had the ball first, and they could not score. Up next, we have... the Bills was our 5th place team. So in 4th will be the Steelers lost to the 49ers. I did not expect the Steelers to win this game anyway, so that's not an issue. The issue is the scoreline. It wasn't that they didn't win, it was that it wasn't even close. They had nothing going on in that game. So that's rough. That's a really rough start to the season. In third, we have the Bengals lost to the Browns. I heard a decent amount of excuses for the Bengals during the broadcast and in post-game. Joe Burrow recently coming off of injury. But anyway you spin it, a divisional loss, that lopsided, where your offense, which is supposed to be your strength, can't even score a touchdown, is embarrassing. It's tough, and it's the Browns. I know the Browns play the Bengals well, but it's not what you want to do week 1. In second, we have the Bears lost to the Packers. You would think that the Bears can finally, once Aaron Rodgers is off the Packers, get a win. And the Packers still went into that game and just rolled them. The Bears scored more than someone like the Bengals or the Steelers, but they weren't in the game. So that's a rough divisional loss again. And now, at number 1, the most embarrassing loss of the week is the Giants lost to the Cowboys. There's so many things about this game that is just embarrassing for Giants fans. First of all, there was so much hope going into this year that the Giants would actually be good, and then they got destroyed. The scoreline is awful, 40-0 at home against a division rival, and it's a rain game. The Cowboys play in a dome. That gives the Giants even more of a benefit and an advantage in that game because they had the weather. The Cowboys should have been the ones looking lost. If the Cowboys looked lost, I think it would be not as shocking because they play in a dome. But the Giants looked like they couldn't handle the weather, which could make for a very long and rough season. That is my list for the most embarrassing losses in week 1 in the NFL season. Let me know down below where you agree and disagree. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.